Hey you guys, this is Jess with Sourceful Journey, back with another video. I wanted to talk about the topic today with regards to those of us who have an extra sense, in this case being a seer, in particular for this video. I honestly feel that seers by far are like what I would consider to be hidden ego assassins. And I want to go ahead and jump to the video and explain to you my thoughts about it, which I think is pretty dope. So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and jump right in. Now, when I say hidden ego assassins, I meant ego in the sense of, the fear factor. Like whenever you are looking to go out and accomplish something, but then all of a sudden fear kicks in. And it's just human nature when that happens with us. Rather than learning to let go and let God, take reign of the situation and just, have faith that it's going to be done. It's just a part of who we are. It's an innate response when the fear factor kicks in. That's what I mean by ego. The reason why I think seers are often viewed as the hidden ego assassins is because depending on the individual that this is associated with, we find various ways to tap in. We find various ways to get certain messages across to people in a way where that ego can be broken down. You never know the type of impact you can have on a person by putting a certain video up with a strong message behind it, or putting up a certain meme or several memes or quotes that person may need to see at that particular point in time in their life. And it may just be the piece or pieces that's needed to get the message across enough to break that ego down within that very individual themselves. You can't always believe what you see on television or what you read online. But just know, I honestly feel that God gives us all some level of a spirit of discernment to know what's real and what's fake, right? People will call it their gut instinct. I personally think it's just God and the angel team giving you the nudges to let you know, like, you can pursue this, or you might want to avoid that. I really think that that's just my own take on it, okay? So I'll use myself as an example. Kind of going back to this particular individual that I spoke about in one of my most recent videos, that I felt, I feel like I'm being pulled to this person for a reason. There were points in time where, for me, a lot of times I would get messages in terms of not only my dreams, visions, or I see things in my day-to-day that just is like a consistent pattern back to back to back. Then that's when I know, okay, I need to pay attention. And that's when I take note. And a lot of times when I piece it together and I do what I'm supposed to do as a seer, I am then, I'm informed in a way that I know that I accomplished what I needed to do. Let's put it that way, without saying too much. So there were instances where I know that I kept getting nudges on doing something or putting up something in reference to a certain topic at hand that needed to be given to this person. And I did just that. And then I may notice, like, later that day, or maybe it might be sometime like later in the week, that individual may say something or send something that lets me know that the message was picked up. And it'll be very specific. You know what's funny? Kind of going back to talking about this individual being surrounded by snakes, as I mentioned in the most recent video. I think it's funny when certain particular individuals that may be a part of that group, when they also make an attempt to reach out to you also, without the main person knowing about it. I might be saying too much when I say this, but if they come across this video, they know who they are. I've had several instances of that happening, received several messages for certain people who are connected with this person. I think I'm slowly starting to get to a point where I will eventually speak on who I'm referencing and the individuals that are connected to this person. I'm getting there. I'm getting there. But I say all this to say, as a seer, when it comes to getting the messages out and making sure it gets to the intended target at the time that it needs to, that's always such a gratifying feeling. And it's even more gratifying when you see a level of a response from them or some type of direct response from them that lets you know, okay, I received your message. That's when you know, okay, job well done. Being a seer can also be pretty tricky in a sense where if God has you set on a mission, just thinking of how I'm gonna word this here, I have to take into consideration like the eyes that are gonna come across this. Even though I really don't care, but at the same time, I don't want to say too much just yet. Let's put it that way. But God has a way of making it so that that individual is able to pick up on the message. It's the funniest thing. I think the part for me when I initially noticed that this particular person was catching my messages, and I noticed that this person was checking my messages every time I was putting something up. I think at first it was kind of startling. It was a little scary, but at the same time, it was like, wait, why am I being so fearful about it? It's just a message. And as I mentioned, as long as it's getting to the intended target, that's all that matters. That's the checkmate in the situation. I think it was more of a fear factor for me because it just lets you know that you can't ever question, you should never want to question the hand of God when it comes to making sure things are executed the way it needs to be done. At one point I was questioning that. I'm thinking like, out of all the people in the world, will this person actually see this message or messages that I'm sending them? Then I started getting those responses. I was like, okay, obviously this person is getting it. Okay, God, I hear you. Okay. I say all that to say, if in any way you're feeling compelled or you're experiencing similar nudges, like I mentioned in my previous videos as well as this one, where you're needing to in some way try to make contact with certain people or a group of people, a group of individuals, maybe it's just one, maybe it's several. In your gut, you know what you know. And there has to be a reason behind it. Do it. Also known as answer the call. I keep saying that over and over in several of my videos. Just answer the call. When you do so, and you see the results that follow thereafter, again, it may be a bit alarming. Excuse me, had a little tongue twister there. It may be a bit alarming, but you'll get the hang of it. You'll realize there's nothing to be afraid of. I think the part that was for me, without saying too much, because this is something that I just don't want to speak on too heavily at this point. Just not yet. I'm getting there. Think about it day by day. If I should, if I shouldn't. At some point I will. Trust me, I'm sure of it. But I think it's funny when you can pick up on certain things that are getting ready to take place, and maybe that the very individual that you feel compelled to reach out to may not even be privy to. And then you find ways to get the message to them, whether it may be with memes or quotes, or maybe you might come across other videos on various platforms, and you're like, and you know, listening to it, who they're talking about, and you make sure you get it directly to that individual, and it's a consistent thing. You know, at some point they're going to pick up on it, and sure enough, they find ways to make sure you got their message too, to let you know, hey, I picked it up. I think that says something. In this day and age, especially when it's something as serious as, you know, thwarting off particular individuals' plans that are not of God, right? When you can throw that off in a way, and that they too see what's going on, and they're like, who the heck is this person? Why are they doing this? God places us in places, and he positions us in so many different ways for a reason, at various points in time. You can never one-up God. No one can. That's the huge checkmate in the situation. That's the Trump factor. When you think about it, a lot of times he'll notify his certain ones, his special ones, aka like seers, things of that nature. He'll notify us of a lot of things well in advance before you even think about trying to execute it. When is man going to realize that God is the ruler of it all? He's the one that orchestrated all of what's going on in this day and age, and of course in past too. When are people going to realize that you can never one-up God? For you to even think that it's even possible is what's so mind-blowing. Like the very one who gave you this vessel to be in, the very one that, you know, blessed you with being able to exist on this very earth plane. You think you can trump an individual like that? Really? How does that work? How has it been working out for you? While the rest of us who know that that is something that can never be done, we're just sitting back laughing at you. Like you're a pathetic piece of shit, to be quite honest. Okay, I'll be a little nicer. We're just sitting back laughing at you like you are a pathetic POS. Okay? This is where people need to really take a step back and just accept things for the way it truly is. No man on the face of this earth, man or woman, can ever trump God. He is the one that has the final say, truly, in all of our lives. In every scenario within our life, whether it's work-related, home-related, dreams-related, you name it. You know, it's very telling, especially when it's the very ones that you may have had a long-term connection with. May have been pals with these individuals for years, decades, without saying too much about who I'm talking about. If they come across this video, they know I'm just getting started. To know that you have had these connections with these individuals for such a long time, and you thought you knew them through and through. You thought that they were like your buds, your bros, your sisses. And to only realize that they were the snakes that was in your grass all along. And you thought you cleared the field. You thought you cleared it all out. Not realizing you still had a few that were just hiding in the back, and thought that they truly had you. To think that they thought that you truly had you, and didn't realize that someone coming out of completely a different space would in some way be able to get the message to you. I just would hope that more people would understand why they should never for one, never be so quick to want to challenge God. Number two, just understand that any ill intentions that one may even try to dream up or maybe conjure up, especially nowadays, towards another individual, especially if they have a calling in their life, just know it's not gonna go through. It's not gonna be able to be accomplished because of the fact that, again, I feel like I'm beating a dead horse here, but as a PSA, God knows about the plans before you even think about trying to execute it. Don't you think that he's going to notify the very individual that you're trying to attempt this act on? Don't you think he's going to notify them before you ever get a chance to? Do you think he's going to ever allow the called ones, do you think he's going to ever allow those individuals to ever be put in harm's way by your nonsense that you sat back with other groups of individuals just to plot and scheme to figure out how we're going to do this, and all for money? Because you think that this person, by them being unalived, is going to bring you just bountiful amounts of money? Was that the real reason why you were with them as a buddy for decades? Was it just simply because you felt that this is going to lead to your pot of gold towards the end of your rainbow? Money? And now that the rug has been pulled from underneath you, and it's been revealed that you and a few others are actually known as true backstabbers, how does that feel? How does that truly feel? Being on the other end of the table now knowing that you have that spotlight, as I spoke about in another video, now you have the spotlight truly shined on you. And to know that not only is it shined on you, and the very individual that you plan on targeting is seeing it, they're becoming awake and they're picking up on it. But to know that the very individual who got the message over to them using other interesting techniques in doing so, but to know that someone you've never even crossed paths with in this lifetime found a way to get it out there and get it put on the forefront for both the primary individual to see. And to think that that person who did all that to bring it to the focal point, i.e. myself in this case, with the story that I'm giving you guys, how does it feel knowing that someone can actually now be able to see in terms of what your plans are, and all we can do is just look at you like you're a pathetic POS and just shake our heads like you really were going to do that just to try to take this person out because of money? It's pretty pathetic. It's extremely pathetic. I say all this to say, whatever is done in the dark will come to light. That is a statement that has always been true and will forever ring to be true, regardless of what type of path one takes. People need to start becoming aware and start accepting it for what it is, especially if you plan on plotting and scheming towards someone who's considered a chosen one, or one who's definitely a part of one of God's, like I wouldn't say God's elite. We'll just leave it as chosen ones. We'll leave it as a chosen one for right now. Again, just make it make sense. Be logical. Do understand that even being one that's a seer, even on our end, we're always going to be notified in advance before you even think about trying to execute it. So you might as well not waste any time doing it. That is all for today's video. Definitely don't forget to like, share, and subscribe if you haven't done so already. Again, as I mentioned, I feel like I'm getting to a point where I may start dropping some names. I just may. I'm debating on it. Because I know if I do, it's going to go viral. I don't know if I want to get there yet. I don't know. I know it's going to go viral because then people are going to start to connect the dots and they're going to realize, like, okay, connecting the dots here, that, wow, I knew this was going on. And it may cause other individuals who may have picked up on it as well to start to speak up as well. Because I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one that's catching on to any of this that's taking place right now. You never know what's going on behind the scenes. You just never want to believe everything you see on your screen. Use your intuition, use your, well, as people say, intuition, gut instinct, nudges, however you like to title it, just use it. Be sensible about it. And again, as I guess you could say more of a warning to those who plan to take out certain actions like that towards those who have a calling on their life, wherever they may be, in terms of the individual I'm speaking about, or maybe those of us who are in the spiritual space. Just know that your plans will always forever be thwarted. It's going to always forever be thrown off. I have so many stories I could tell based on my own experiences where I've encountered those scenarios and was notified in advance. And at one point thought that, okay, maybe I was over exaggerating. Maybe I misread that and that wasn't going to happen. But then I would have gotten some type of update that came through to let me know, like, no, you see, that was about to happen. And look, you missed it because you listened to your instinct, you listened to your gut. So I say all that to say, to those who are looking to take out this particular plan and who are still considering taking out this particular plan, you might want to think twice about it. Oh, and another reason you might want to think twice about this is because of the ramifications this is going to follow. I feel compelled to speak about this too. It just hit me. I need to say this too. See, the very plan you're thinking about taking out on an individual, not only the person who's getting the message out to the main person that's the topic of discussion at this point, but also the very individual themselves that you're planning on trying to take this act out on just for money. If you do that, a tower's gonna blow. It's gonna blow like no other. And we're not talking about just in this lifetime. We're talking about generations to follow. It's gonna hit quick. We're talking about anything and everything that you can imagine in terms of your everyday existence will blow. It will. That's how serious it's getting. And it's sad because now it's getting to a point that now you're pushing God to really show why he is God. And don't for once think that this is going to exclude any of your loved ones. You even considering taking out this act on the messenger as well as the very individual that you're looking to do this to just to get the money. This is going to cause a trickling effect not only onto you in terms of all that you have in your everyday existence, but it's also going to hit your family. It will hit your children too. Age doesn't matter at this point. It's going to hit them too. So when we say towers will blow, when we say that in the spiritual community, just know we mean towers will blow, and they will blow fast. You will not know what hit you. And all I can say is that if you decide to try to attempt to take this out, you can't say you weren't warned. Okay? This isn't anyone who's just simply blowing hot air. We're not. We're not at all. For a person to feel so passionate enough or strong enough in making a statement like this and speaking on it in such a way of knowing, that should be enough to hopefully give you enough to think about and to think twice about. 4, if the person wasn't sure about what they were saying or what they're conveying in terms of the message, whether it's my own video like what I'm doing right now, or if there's other videos that you may come across, you would not see us speak with such passion, with such force in our tone. Again, this is a warning. Please take it and chew on it. As I said in my previous videos, think about it. Before you consider taking out that act on the individual conveying the message, as well as the very individual, the primary individual of this entire topic, think twice. Please think twice, because you're gonna end up having so many towers blown back to back to back, back to back to back. Excuse me for that. And again, it's gonna hit more than just you. You and pretty much your entire crew, kids included. And we're not talking only about in this lifetime, but it will be in future lifetimes thereafter. And that's just that. Oh, that was a tough message to get out, but I felt like I needed to say it. And I was just getting ready to wrap that part up, but then something just hit me. Oh, don't forget to say this. So I wanted to make sure I got that part out. As always, you guys, don't forget to like, share, subscribe if you haven't done so already. There are still a few spots still open this week in terms of consultations. So definitely, if it's something you're interested in, don't hesitate to take advantage of it. If you are having issues with scheduling the designated appointment time and date in the calendar via the link I have listed below, just reach out to me on my other platforms. Again, it could be Instagram, Snapchat. I don't really utilize TikTok that much. I will eventually. But emails is just as fine as well. And then from there, we would just take it from there and I would just schedule it into my calendar accordingly. And it's just that simple. But with that being said, you guys definitely know, I know this is a pretty lengthy video. And it was a very serious video, but it was a statement. It was a stance that needed to be made. It was a statement that needed to be conveyed to a particular group. Again, you know, as long as it hits the intended target, I'm getting a tongue twister here. As long as it hits the intended target or targets, that's what matters. And yeah, going forward, hopefully you would not have to have these type of conversations. But if I'm being pushed to or nudged to, as I like to say, I will. And to take it a step further, if I need to be vocal about the very individuals that I'm referencing at any point in time going forward, I will. Trust that. Send you guys with love and light, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.